I thought that was really cool. And it just seems like a really nice dishwasher compared to like the one I have. Like, wow, it's got 3 racks and a little like delicate rack up on top, like
But
a real shallow
is yours not getting your dishes clean?
Well, it's not as cool as this. This one has red stuff inside. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fine Home Building Podcast. My name is Justin, and that is Brian over there. We have a special guest with us on this episode, Jen Tutkin from Pella. What is your job title there?
Senior Industrial Designer.
Whoa. So what does that encompass?
Well, the way I like to describe it in basic sense is big kids arts and crafts. So my job really is focused around creating ideas and playing and tinkering and then working with the engineers to bring those things to life.
Mm-hmm.
So we play more in the conceptual space than we do more in the manufacturing and feasibility. While those are still really important, we really go out to try and figure out what do consumers want and what problems can we solve.
So it's sort of like forget everything you know about Windows.
Yep.
Come up. So how do you, like how many things that you guys come up with actually see the light of day? I mean, I'm sure everything is kind of, you get a lot of things to concept or maybe like soft testing the market kind of things, right?
Yep. Yep.
But is it like, you know, we just sit there with a whiteboard and come up with the wackiest things we can and then maybe one will become a reality?
Yeah, there's a variety of different ways that we attack it. So we either do in-depth interviews and talking to consumers or builders, contractors, kind of about their process, what do they have problems with, what do they want to be quicker, and then we go into full ideation sessions, and that's where you see the crazy Post-its and the whiteboards, right,
Yes.
where everyone's standing around and having a great time. And then we eventually have to distill that down into a few ideas that we then go back out and test with our consumers,
Okay.
or builders, contractors, and they give us kind of the thumbs up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
or hey, we like the idea, but we're not really sure. Could you change it a little bit like this?
Yeah.
And
Do you, at that point, do you already have a prototype that you're bringing them, or
sometimes,
yeah,
it's either kind of a storyboard, a sketch, an animation, or it's a full-blown prototype.
So this is cool. Can we? But I'm curious. I want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Don't move the microphone like Brian does.
Yeah. You can't do it.
Did I even say
no.
did I even say we're at PCBC? We're at PCBC.
The
There we go.
Pacific Coast Builders
Yeah.
Show. Yeah.
Just like last episode. So if you didn't hear that one, go back and listen to that first. There
Yeah.
you go.
So I'm curious how you do the market research with those different groups, and then I'm also curious. Second part of that question,
Part 2.
is what sort of are different kinds of things do you hear from a consumer homeowner versus a builder versus an architect?
Good question.
Yeah,
Big question.
it's a lot. We got a lot of time.
Let me break it down.
All afternoon.
We're going to be hanging out for a while.
Yeah.
No, we have a few different ways of going out to do research. We hold some brainstorming or focus groups with builders and contractors regionally, kind of finding them through our network or recruiters, things like that. And that's where we kind of sit down with them and really talk to them about their specific problems. But then we also do national research projects, more online surveys, and understanding, do people open their windows and doors, or their windows? On a double hung, do they open both the bottom and the top, right? There's a lot of discussion around that. Being in a corporate environment, you're living with your own windows and you're building
Oh, for sure.
some, but you don't actually see them out in the wild,
Yeah.
we like to say. And
So wait, do people open both top and bottom
I
double
do.
hung? Because I do.
Yeah,
I definitely
I
open
do
the
too.
top. Brian?
yeah.
Yeah. I thought you
You don't,
had
have,
to.
you don't have to say. If you don't, you don't have to say you do.
No, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, we often see if people open the top one, it's either to get that ventilation while it's raining outside, or because they
Yeah.
have small children on the second story, so they want to open up the top one instead of the lower one
They
for
only
safety.
open the top one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so safety is definitely a big concern within our marketplace as well.
I find, and I don't know if you know this, but on this show we talk a lot about ventilation and air sealing.
Yep.
So I just wanted to bring that back to ventilation here because we're talking about opening windows. I find that if you open the top of the window, like I have an upstairs bedroom, and the AC doesn't work so well up there. So if you open the top of the double hung window, with the bottom open as well, then you start feeling some breeze. If
Yeah,
you
'cause
open
air comes in the bottom and it goes out the top.
Exactly. If you open just the bottom or just the top,
Not so
Nah.
much.
You have to open another one across the house for
Yeah.
it to
that's right.
Right.
come fresh in.
Yeah, that kind of advice comes
Even-
for free.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't fit.
Oh,
We're not done,
what was
though.
second part of
Yeah.
the question?
We're not done.
Yeah, you're not off the hook.
Going out to our different segments.
Yeah.
Essentially. Homeowners, they talk a lot about kind of the emotional appeal of it. So the colors, the finishes, the ease of use. They also tell us, I feel the cold air coming in my window, which is often more an install
Yep.
issue than it is a window quality
course.
issue.
Or just the fact that you have a big piece of glass. I mean, it's not necessarily leaky. It's just feels uncomfortable when
It's
you're
just
sitting
not
next to it.
as warm as the
Yeah.
wall next to
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I can see you probably field a lot of phone calls. My window is leaking air. No, it's not.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, comfort's a big thing for homeowners. They talk a lot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we talk to the builders and contractors, it's all about, hey, we have labor shortages out there. How do you make this easier for me? How do you make it cheaper so that way I can, continue to run my business the way I want to run it and scale it up? So it's just a different conversation. Then architects are all about the sight lines and the shadows and the materials and finishes, and they just want
Yes.
to execute their dream project,
Yeah.
right? So it's having versatility and kind of a suite of products
Yeah.
to fit their different needs.
So you guys are just launching something that we just happened to see a little video of it. And did you just show it for the first time last week at the
Yeah, so we showed
AIA show?
a few things last week at AIA out
Yeah.
in New York. We introduced the integrated roll screen on our Architect Series double hung windows. And I don't know if you know this, but Pella originally was the roll screen company,
Okay.
founded in 1925.
It was a roll screen company.
Yes.
That's how they started. All right.
They changed their name in the 90s. But yeah, most people
Where does
don't know
Pella
that.
come from? What is that?
Oh, I know the answer.
Do you?
I think so.
Go.
Pella, Iowa.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that where the company is?
Yeah.
It is.
You work in Iowa?
I flew in from Iowa today.
Wow.
Just hang out with you guys.
Wow.
I have family in Iowa.
You do.
Yeah, but we can talk about that
Okay, offline.
later.
You don't want to? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So roll screen. How does that work?
Yes. So
Is this the original 1925 formulation that you released last week?
No, we've done a few changes since then.
Okay.
But our roll screen, we sell it on casements and awnings primarily. It's on the interior of the window itself. But basically there's a roll in the top and you just pull that down and the screen is activated. So when you open up your window, you can keep the bugs out, but the window still is venting.
So
Does that make sense?
So you don't have to remove a screen, essentially.
Yeah, you don't have to
It's
remove a
just
screen.
roll.
You don't have to look through the screen when your
Yeah.
window's not open. And that was one of the big pain points that we heard from the architectural community and homeowners is that, hey, we don't want to look through screens
Yeah.
on our really nice double hung or
Yeah.
single hung windows. Like it sucks with our curb appeal.
Yeah.
It blocks light from coming in my home. So we have integrated it into the frame of the window without changing any of the sizing or the proportions.
So on a double hung window, it's on the outside?
No, so it's
On
actually
the inside?
no.
It's got to be on one or the other.
So it's actually, it comes out of the sill, the lower part of the window, and then the head as well, and it's attached to
It's
the
attached
sash.
to the sash.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So as soon as you move the
Pretty
sash,
smart.
it automatically rolls out and is there to protect against the
Yeah.
bugs.
That
But-
is pretty cool.
And do you
Say-
have it on casements as well?
Well, we do have a casement roll screen, yes.
Yeah, because
How does that work?
that's more bothersome to me, the casements with the screen on the inside than it is for some reason than the double hungs with the screen on the outside. For some
Yeah.
reason, I love casement windows. I have a bunch of them in my house, but for some reason when the screen's inside, it seems more present
Oh, yeah.
than when it's on the out. Maybe because
Do you spend more time inside or outside of your home?
That's a good question, Brian. This is a tough answer.
Year round, probably inside.
There you go.
Yeah.
What about when it's warm out?
Outside.
I don't know. Work in an office.
That's not when I'm home. That's when I'm in the office.
Yeah.
We need some roll screens in that office.
Where does the roll screen attach on a casement window?
So it's attached up top. So you have to reach up there
So that
and
one's
then
not
pull it back
attached to
down.
it.
You
It's
pull
not,
that
I
one.
don't
That
crank
one's
the
not-
window open.
No, because if you were to crank it out, you would have
Yeah.
3 sides.
Yes.
So you'd have to cover up with a screen.
Right.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Not bad. So the next level of this roll screen, I mean, is that sort of the way it was always designed? So I'm guessing back in 1925, it was just kind of a thing you pulled down like a window shade.
Yep.
Except it was a screen.
Yes.
So are you saying that as of last week, that was the idea of attaching it to the sash, or you already had that?
Well, as of last week, there was no roll screen solution on a double hung or a single hung.
Oh, okay.
So,
And it's now
there is.
available.
and well, we're starting to sell it in August,
Okay.
but we launched it last week at AIA.
Okay.
And is it available on? You haven't talked yet about all that you offer for Windows, but it's available like across your lines, or is
Not
it one
entirely.
specific line?
No, it's just our Architect Series Reserve product line.
Okay, so
which
that's
is
a
more of
higher
our
end.
historically authentic wood
Okay.
window with clad on the outside.
Yeah.
A bird just flew by you guys, like, and landed on the floor. We're inside right now, just so everybody knows. So the automated window, though.
Yeah.
So how does this work? It's a single hung.
Ish. Yes.
Is this
Yeah.
ish?
Well, it's an in-plane single hung is what you could kind of describe it as. So the lower sash sits in plane with the top sash when it's closed, so that way it appears as an all glass.
Seamless.
Yep.
Is it sort of like a car door, like a frameless car door, in the sense that the glass overlaps the frame too? So on the outside, it really just looks like glass.
Yes.
Very
Both on the
cool.
outside and the inside.
Okay, so the seals must be located on the sash, and then the glass presses against the seal. Is that how that works?
So we haven't sorted out all of the technical details. At
You've got
AIA
till August.
Yeah.
No, that product it's just a concept. So if you think
Oh,
of like
okay.
the car industry and a concept car,
Sure.
Gotcha.
that's essentially what we did last week. So we showed the past with our original roll screen on a 1967 casement window, and then we showed 2 integrated roll screen on our double hungs.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, we sort of showed what could the future look like.
Yep.
And so we executed that in very simple, reduced styling, very concept sort of feel.
Yeah, it's almost no frame. I
Right.
mean, it's so minimalist.
Yes, we only
Yeah.
had a 1/4 of an inch frame, stainless steel frame all the way around the window,
Wow.
and it was flush with the interior and the exterior.
Oh, cool. So you make
Yeah.
it, you size it to fit the depth of the wall
Yeah.
exactly.
And then
Very
the
cool.
automated portion, we were controlling it through an app
Of course.
remotely, because why not?
Yeah.
That's what you
You
do.
know?
That's what you do now.
Eventually, technology might get into our category, but we just wanted to play around and experiment, and again, just engage with the architectural community
You have
and
a
designers.
pretty cool job.
Big
Yeah,
Kids Arts
I mean,
and
how did-
Crafts.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
How did you get this job?
don't
You
know.
already, it sounds like you're not even responsible for making actual product. Like you just have to screw around and come up with some ideas.
Here's something that'll never work.
Yeah.
Let's show it at the Builder Show.
Yeah. I want to.
I built one.
Yeah.
We built one.
I mean, so what? All right. So that one. What was the response to it? I guess is the question.
It was very positive. We had a lot of architects come up. They were very engaged. They'd stop and be like, "What am I looking at?" for
Yeah.
a second, and then they'd see me kind of running it through the app, and then they'd come up and they'd say, "Oh my God, I want that! Oh, I love this look!" Or
Did you guys learn anything from people in the field? I always love that about the show, walking around with builders to see different products, and then you sort of, because a lot of times the companies that are launching products they have kind of their sales sheet, and they're going, here's what's great about this, but for everything they're teaching, they're also learning like, oh yeah, we didn't think of that problem.
Absolutely.
Or that was. So what did you get anything like that from architects? Like,
I got a lot of how does this seal question.
Yeah,
I did
okay,
get a lot
okay.
of that because there was a very clear gap in between where the 2 sashes came
Yeah.
together because we just didn't figure that part out.
yeah,
It wasn't necessary. But overall, the architects, if you think of the concept window and if you saw a picture of it, it would be a lot easier to
Yeah.
describe this.
Well,
But
so where can people go to see a little video of it? It's on Pella Facebook page?
yeah, it's
Is
on the
that where it
Pella
is?
Facebook
Okay.
page. I think that is actually the place we have it. It's
Okay.
also on our Instagram account.
Should we check with your entourage? They're not paying attention. All right.
We'll follow up show notes.
So with the roll screen,
Yes.
what happens
We're
when
past the roll screen.
I'm not past it yet.
Okay.
When your cat
Yes.
wants to get out and scratches through the roll screen.
This is one of those things that we heard at the show.
What
and
do you
also
do
in research,
next?
people were really concerned. What about my cat? What about my
Yes,
cat?
because I fix screens often
Oh,
that my
okay.
cats claw their way through. So
Yeah.
and with a screen, you take out the little, what is that thing? Gasket that
Yep.
holds the screen in, and you put you get a
Really?
new piece of screen, and you roll it back
Can you get
in.
it tight? Are you pretty good at it?
I'm pretty good at it. There's a
Yeah.
special tool. I don't have it. That you roll along the little groove to press
Yeah.
the gasket
Yeah.
in.
Too
If I had
expensive?
that tool, yeah.
It's like
I
$2.
always think I could come up with something else to do it, but I should probably get it.
gift ideas.
If you're
for
doing it
anybody
that
listening.
much, maybe.
Right. Anyway, so if I got a roll screen,
Yes.
what would I do about my cats?
Well, what kind of material is the screening? Is it because I know you can get fiberglass and
It's a-
metal?
It's
and,
gotta
yeah,
be the
it's a
fiberglass, right?
fiberglass
okay.
screen.
Yep.
Rolls.
Yes.
You can roll metal.
Yeah.
probably
Get some kinks.
Okay.
So the way we would service it, if your cat were to rip it or something like that, we would have to come in and take out the old cartridge and pop in a new one.
So like
Essentially,
the sash
into the window.
stays. So it's essentially
Yeah,
a cartridge, and then so if this cartridge is in my sill, when I open the window,
Yep.
I have the choice of whether to have it attached to the sash or not.
Yeah, it's magnetically attached, actually.
cool.
One of the features that we built into it is when, I don't know if you've ever cleaned your window or
Of
not.
course.
So you tilt the lower sash.
Yeah.
The tilt out. I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
that. Do people
So-
actually tilt them out?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are smarter than you give them credit for.
People
It's
do
good.
everything that
Yeah.
Windows do, apparently.
Yeah, they take
Apparently.
advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always wondering about that. The tilt out. I've never tilted mine out. I'd
Don't
rather
they-
get on a ladder outside.
Don't
and
they tilt in?
clean it.
Isn't that
tilt
what,
in.
Yeah.
Tilt
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the lower sash tilts in, the roll screen automatically detaches. So that way you don't have any funky interferences going on.
Yeah.
And when it detaches, all you have to do is you clean your window, you pop it back into the jams, lower it, it automatically reattaches through magnets, and then you just pull it back up. We did that because we didn't want anyone to have to do more steps than they already do
Yeah.
to clean a window. And so we've just made it a very seamless, intuitive experience.
That's pretty cool. So is your job a lot of going to engineering teams and saying, I want to do this, and they go, what, we can't do that. That's insane. Like, how do you have any ideas for how we're going to do this?
Yeah, they're
Do they get annoyed when you show up with like an idea of how you would get it done?
They kind of
Like,
look
what if
at
we
me
did-
a
What if we
little
did some
cross-eyed,
magnets
and they're
here?
like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I'm like, "We just got to try it,
Yeah.
right?" So it's a lot of experimentation.
I was picturing some magnets in here somewhere. If we could work that in, that would be great.
That was their idea. It was great, but it's very cross collaborative. So
Yeah.
we have market insights, we have designers, and then just marketing people in general, all kind of going out and trying to figure out what should this look like, what kind of experience does it need, and our engineers are right there too to tell us that's completely crazy, or hey, that
Yeah.
might actually work. So there's a lot of back and forth. We have an innovation lab where a lot of that takes place. We have full-time engineers and designers back there.
Are you 3D printing things?
We are 3D printing,
Of
we're
course.
laser cutting,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
making things by hand. They're
the-
engineers mixed with craftsmen in a way.
Are
Yeah.
all the windows made right in Iowa too?
Not all of them. No,
But
we have
some?
Yes. We have 13 manufacturing facilities across the US, plus 4 luxury companies.
So is
Also
it-
in the US.
It's all U.S. though.
Yep.
Wow.
And are they regional for distribution, or you're just making different things in different places?
It's both.
It's both.
actually. Yeah. So we have a vinyl manufacturer out on the West Coast, and we've got Duracast, or our Impervia line, which is our fiberglass line. That one's out in Kentucky. So, yeah,
Do you want to
kind of all over.
Do you want to tell us and the listeners a little bit about what Pella offers?
Sure.
So that we're aware.
Are you ready for that?
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Pella offers, as far as in the window category, we have vinyl windows. We have 3 different lines. We have Encompass, we have 250 and 350. And those are just different feature sets as you go up in price point.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have an Impervia, which is our fiberglass line. And then we have, I believe it's 4 wood. Yeah, 4 wood brands,
Mm-hmm.
4 wood lines. We have Pella 450.
This is like a real hard test.
Sorry, yeah. It's Pella 450, and then we have Designer Series, which has the blinds between the shades.
Okay.
Which Pella came out with in the 60s.
Blinds between the
Between the
shades.
glass.
Between the glass.
Yes.
And then we have Architect Series Reserve, which is more of our traditional product lineup. And then we have Architect Series Contemporary line
So-
that we just launched a year and a half ago.
So you have to basically compete from builder's grade to premium architecture lines. So where are you guys at? Pella used to be like everywhere you went, there was Pella.
Mm-hmm.
It was like in all. I guess you guys sold through Lowe's, wasn't it?
we still do.
Still do
Still
sell
do
Lowe's?
sell.
Okay.
Yep. We sell through Lowe's. We have our own distribution network all across the country.
So was there sort of like a little bit of a lull, and then you guys are kind of ramping back up again, or is it? Or if I just kind of lost touch with where the window industry is, it's probably
We
the
are
second one.
We are the second largest manufacturer
All right,
in the
it's
U.S.
definitely
for
the second
windows.
one then.
Yeah. So we're still
Wow.
there. We're still in the game.
Wow. Okay.
What out of all those lines that you mentioned, what's your biggest seller?
I I actually don't know the numbers to that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's your smallest seller?
I don't know.
What's your favorite?
I've got some good ones.
How about what part of the? Do you have like a part of the country that you do the most business in?
I don't know those numbers.
Never
I'm
mind
sorry.
that. I want to
I'm
know.
sorry.
You got to tell us
Trying
at
to get
least
to the bottom of this.
You got to tell us at least one cool thing that you guys developed that never saw the light of day. Like some wacky idea or some concept thing that you couldn't get off the ground.
So I've only been there for a year and a half, so I don't know
what's
a lot
the typical
of the history.
like when you came in? Was the
We're, like,
the
so
automated
the-
window already in the works?
No, that's been since I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were elements of automation
Okay.
that they were tinkering around with, but no real way to execute it, and they weren't really sure. Do consumers want it? Are they ready?
Yeah.
This is a product that you're gonna put in your house and you're gonna live with it for a long time. And technology is a really tricky thing right now.
Yeah.
It's a very quick moving industry. So can you be
Sure.
relevant for that long with a window or door?
I mean, if you didn't, let's say the technology went leaps and bounds ahead, and in 10 years nobody was using cell phones with apps anymore,
Mm-hmm.
can you still operate the window without that?
Yeah, there's ways to.
Or is it pretty
Basically-
much you have to use the electronic app to do it?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
You can just put a button there to push up, down, close, lock, things like that, which is kind of like a light switch or a dimmer switch that you would use today.
Oh, so all the locks are kind of hidden too. Mm-hmm. So no little thumb latch. That could be very cool.
Yeah,
I could definitely see some
there was no
architects getting
hardware on
excited
it
about
at
that.
all. It was kind of like if you think of a Tesla,
Yeah.
how the handles are just nice and sleek until you kind of walk up to it or unlock it, and then all of a sudden it comes out of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were heavily inspired by the automobile industry.
Yeah.
I'll be super interested to watch technology in houses going forward. As much as I have seen and we have seen for products that are available for years now, like locks, right? Like lock sets for your front doors
Yeah.
where you walk up and they're keyless and you just touch the lock, it identifies your phone, all that kind of stuff, and all the smart stuff inside. I toured a whole bunch of new homes here in California yesterday. We went to a whole bunch of different developments and looked at all these new houses, and unless it wasn't there because it's upgrades, I didn't see any of that in any of these places. I didn't see
Really?
anything high tech in any one of them. And we did see everything from what they consider entry level to like what they consider really the luxury
Really?
homes. And the only thing I saw was like it was like a refrigerator with like a smart screen on it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where people get really excited about a new possibility, but it's whether or not you actually see that out in the field, even within a decade, that's really kind of telling of, is it grabbing hold?
Yeah,
And
and to
like-
your point, it changes so fast.
Yeah.
And when you install it in a home, it's installed now.
Yep.
So changing
Yes.
it is tough. It's bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger than like the next app for your smartphone.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it wasn't a cell phone app, it really was like you're saying, just a button.
switch.
That's super cool.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like your garage door used to
Yeah.
be, right?
Yeah,
Open,
it used to be.
close. Well, through you
What
can
is
do
it now? I'm really
Now
old.
there's like, isn't there a fob where it can tell if your car is coming
What?
up and it'll automatically
Yes.
open? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not crazy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like the doorbell looking thing anymore.
Have you heard of this, Jeff? No, Jeff doesn't have one of those. I don't even park in the garage, so.
Got to push the button and then run out the door, right?
Yeah.
Before it closes.
Yeah, I want
Yes.
one of the old ones that actually lifts up like a big awning window. All right. Well, what other stuff do you want to talk to us about? Any other cool products you have coming out? Any new innovative, since you're not sharing the scoop on any cool products that never saw the light of day?
Yeah. What's the next thing you're going
Yeah.
to design that will never see the light of day?
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing. I want everything to see the light
Yeah.
of day.
Is there-
I have to be
but
the
the
optimist
concept
on the team.
cars and like it's the same thing in fashion, right?
Yes.
I would think all that stuff's really important to moving the industry forward.
Yes.
Like doing the,
Oh,
the
yeah, for
cars
sure.
that
you gotta, even if you don't sell a bunch of them or it never even really sees the light of day, just kind of setting yourself out there as being like, hey, we're the company that did this. That's
Well,
awesome.
Yeah, it's starting the conversation
Yeah.
with builders. It even has. We have to open it up and say, would you ever power a window? And if you did, how would you do that in the new construction industry or to remodel, right? And those are questions that it's easier to have the conversation when you can see something it's a real viable thing
Yeah,
that could potentially
sure.
show up versus in a conceptual dreamland, what do you think you
Right.
would do? Right.
Right. not only that, but we should give you some credit because you didn't just motorize a window. I mean, you eliminated the frame, made it completely flush and sleek on the outside. So it's kind of...
Yeah, it was a new motion for the window industry.
Hit all of the hardware. So you did kind of like a Steve Jobs, like throw away what you know about a window and let's start from scratch, which is kind of cool.
It's quite the compliment.
That's a
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll expect to hear back from you next year to see what new cool thing you have coming out.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you swinging by and spending some time with us.
Thank you.
And where can people go to find out some more?
Pella.com is our primary hub of all information.
And if
also
they want to check out that video we were talking about of the new sleek, does it have a name, this window?
Just the future concept window at this
Wow.
point.
And I missed this part, but is it here?
No, it's not here.
It's not
No.
here. You didn't bring it here?
I know. I couldn't get it from New York here in like 2 days.
2 days.
That's the, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Next time,
Thank you.
make 2.
Yeah.
Do. Just for you. I'll bring it on over.
All right. We'll be right back. And we're back. So thanks to our special guest from Pella.
That was pretty interesting stuff, huh?
Super cool, yeah.
Yeah, we got the right person. You were saying, when we took a little break while she left, you were saying how so it's so hard to get the right person for an interview when you're talking about manufacturers of things.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to tend to give you their marketing people because they're the most polished and whatnot, but they're not the ones we want to talk to who have the real good stuff.
Well, the marketing people are really good for understanding what, like where you are in the market, who are you competing with,
Yes.
what's everybody else up to.
Absolutely.
But then sometimes it's fun to go to the next layer down and get to how the heck does that work, or how do you decide what goes into it and doesn't go into it? That's super cool.
I feel
stuff.
like that was one of the best sort of educations I've gotten into how companies in this industry get to new products. How do they get to new products?
Yeah, we should have a new products team, Brian.
We should.
This podcast needs a new products team. Jeff, you're in charge of innovation from now on. All right, good. So I wanted to talk a little bit about other things we've seen on the show floor because we haven't done that yet from this show.
Admittedly, we haven't seen that much yet, but we could talk about that true wall.
We did.
We just saw.
I spent a good couple of hours today walking around, so I've seen a decent chunk of it at this point, at least. But yeah, that true wall is the one that we just looked at right before we started recording, and it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around what the company is.
Right. It's not. Let's explain the product first.
Okay.
So the product as a product
makes sense. Got it. Easy. It's essentially a factory built wall that's 2x4, 2x6 framing. On the outside is polyiso, a rigid foam insulation.
Whatever thickness you need.
For
your area or what you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. And
hi.
we have a fan walking up. So you basically have the polyiso. It's for whatever thickness you need for your climate. And then I'm completely distracted now. Jeff, what was that? What did she say? The guys?
She must listen to the show.
I guess she was on.
We should have her on.
No, I don't think so. She can listen back and hear it. Okay. Anyway, so true wall. We're gonna do a hard cut there. Start over again.
What's true wall?
So essentially, it's 2x4, 2x6 frame construction. And then on the outside, you have polyiso cyanurate rigid foam insulation,
which also has is the weather barrier.
Yes. So that acts as the weather barrier. Interestingly, there is no other sheathing on these walls.
Right.
And then on the inside of the cavities, they spray high density spray foam. And by high, I mean like 3 pounds per. Is it cubic inch or square inch? I forget. Probably cubic inch, right?
Yeah.
Usually when you buy spray foam or you spec spray foam, open cell is 1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Closed cell's 2.
2 pounds.
This is 3 pounds. And so that was their answer for how they are achieving shear wall strength, in their prefab walls without having any structural sheathing on the outside.
Right. Or other solution.
Right. And not that you can't use foam board on the outside of a wall. You can, but a lot of times in the corners of the building, you have to have, sheet good, either plywood or OSB to prevent the racking.
Right. And that ultimately, when you want to have foam on the outside, that ultimately complicates things just because of thicknesses and trying to get stuff in plane. So it's not an easy
So
Design.
Brian and I grilled those guys
You
over
did
there.
a good job grilling them.
Did I?
I thought so.
Thanks.
Pretty good. Thanks.
I don't really understand what the company is. So the product
Yes.
we got, and it was cool because they had different labels on the wall, like Title 24 California wall, Passive House wall,
Right, climate zones 1
climate
through
zone,
such and such.
and
yeah.
and like you said, all you're doing is varying the amount of polyiso on the outside, the depth of the framed cavity, and the amount of closed cell spray foam on the inside.
Right. And so these things come, the intention is that they come out of the factory to your job site. Flat packed, and you install them in a very quick, smooth process.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, from that standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that's all good so far.
That's all good so far. What we don't understand is who the company is, because I couldn't follow the description of who.
No.
It sounded like a bunch of companies, like Carlisle
was involved.
some other big name companies that all sort of came together.
Yes.
And when we got to the end of the conversation, we realized, and this is going to be a lot like your listening experience with this, because you're going to get to the end of our conversation and realize that this product doesn't actually exist.
No.
You can't actually buy these
You
walls.
can't get it. Yeah.
I wish they'd led
It
with
has
that.
a name. It has a brand. It's called TrueWall. Maybe I didn't see if any websites written anywhere, but maybe you can look it up online and find it. And the idea is that I said, do you have distribution? I said, is it nationally available nationally? And at first they said yes.
Yes.
And then they paused and they said, hopefully.
Yeah.
It will be.
That's where it started to unravel.
Right. So they're hoping to get factories that already exist that do factory built walls to adopt this system,
Which they say they're patented.
which they say is patented.
I don't understand that either.
I think I left there under the impression that it's the 3-pound foam.
That is the thing.
That's the thing.
Right, because the polyiso was standard, he said.
Yes.
Obviously, the studs, they're just buying.
Studs are studs.
And it sounded like the key to the whole system that allows them to do what they're doing and nobody else to do it is having that high-density foam. But I don't think that's proprietary. I think anybody...
Can't you just turn the dials on your foam mixture?
I bet you go to a foam company and say, I want 3-pound foam. They're going to go, yeah, all right, it's cool.
Right.
We can do it for you. Maybe it's just... I don't know what they patented. But anyway, the idea that we walked away from, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that it almost seems like they're kind of testing the market. Like, are people interested in this? We want to get some factories where we can build this going so people can use it.
Right.
And, I liked that. I like the idea
Maybe
of
it's something that a factory offers. Oh, by the way, we offer TrueWall. And people
Right.
get to know that name.
Right.
Like I said to you when we were walking away, it sounds great for a production builder.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but-
to be able to, I guess they could be doing it now though, except for because you can, so they don't have sheathing on their walls, but you could order that exact same wall with sheathing with 2-pound foam from a factory, I'm sure right now, in most parts of the country, and be doing that. So maybe it's not great for a production builder.
I don't
know.
But the thing that I don't get about the factory built wall thing is like you still have the rest of the house that you have to build. So you have walls that come from the factory.
Yes.
You got your floor system you have to do on site. You got your roof, and then you still need to bring an insulation contractor in. If you chose to go with high density spray foam, you still have to spray the roof deck. You have to spray, I guess the floor or whatever over the crawl space or basement or however you're going to handle that. So the only real thing it's saving is the framing. Like you're drying in faster, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And you're sort of condensing some layers.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Did you get the R value of the foam, of the spray foam?
No, because that's the other weird thing is they were insisting on putting it in U value instead of R value.
Right.
And I get it because they want it to be the whole wall insulation value rather than like just here's the insulation R value.
Right.
But nobody thinks in U value except for Windows, and I don't know what U.045 is off the top of my head.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, TrueWall. You can look that up.
Check it out.
What other cool stuff do we see? We saw BAMCore, which, right off the bat, they got you on the name.
Yes.
I'm in.
Tell me about BAMCore.
Tell me about BAMCore.
I only saw the name, and I was so curious. I didn't even get over to the booth yet.
So it's essentially, and I don't know if this is new or not. I think it's the first time I've seen it, but I forget everything. I'm guessing, I don't know, Jeff and I agreed, probably 1.25-ish, something like that. And it's plywood. It looked to be skinned like any other plywood, maybe fir. It looked like regular CDX or something like that, but the core of it was bamboo. And so it was thick plywood, but that's like, okay, that's one thing. Like, yeah, I can get plywood anywhere, bamboo plywood, but this was thick, and there's no studs in the wall. It's just plywood. It's just BAM core. There's no stud, there's just BAM. And
inside and out, you said, right?
Inside and out.
So this is a hollow wall.
But wait, there's more.
But
I don't know what the plates are. I think I need to go back and look at the booth again. The plates are either more BAM core, or it's like a regular 2x6 or 2x4 or whatever that they just attach this thing to. But then around window openings, they just put in more BAM core. And so they're just creating a hollow wall that you then, I guess, pack with insulation somehow. I guess you could blow it in easy enough. That would. Although I guess you wouldn't, because then you'd have no chambers.
Are you buying this in sections?
I think it's sheets. It looks like sheets. Like you're putting up. Right, Jeff? Is that what it was? Jeff didn't look at it. Thanks, Jeff. I think it looked to me like big sheets.
Okay.
Or at least, it's hard to tell because that's what the booth looked like, you know?
Right.
The booth had that set up. But like in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, so you fill this with cellulose or something. But now I'm thinking back, but that's not easy to fill a space like that with cellulose. It's too open. Dense packing something relies on the fact that you have an area to dense pack.
Right.
Having a big open wall can be really hard to get even density throughout that whole thing.
Sure.
So I'm not sure how they're doing that. Also, who the hell wants to lift an 1.25 inch thick panel made out of bamboo?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it seemed like a cool use of bamboo, which, as we all know, grows insanely fast and is super strong. We all learned that on Gilligan's Island. So
check out BAM core.
So we got that going. What else did we say? Wait, I gotta pull out my phone.
Well, we saw some new stuff from James Hardie.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah, some new profiles.
Yeah, they have. And I don't know how new that product is, but I haven't seen it before. They're making tongue and groove paneled siding, or I guess it's not tongue and groove, probably shiplap.
Shiplap.
Vertical
nice
and horizontal.
V-groove.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice. Totally blind fastened.
Yep. They seem to just keep adding profiles to their lines and adding more and more stylistic stuff.
I mean, it's been a while since they kind of expanded beyond the clapboard siding.
Okay, maybe.
Right?
I'm not sure. Because they had a few other things.
And
they had that, I don't even know what you call this siding, but is it novelty siding? It has a little bead on the bottom of the clapboard.
No.
Or the lap. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
they've had that for a little while.
I think there's an artisan line or something, but I don't know what they... what else did I take a picture of?
What's novelty siding? What am I thinking of?
It's a certain profile of like paneled siding.
Okay.
At least that's, according to the lumberyard that I've been going to, that's what they always called it. So let me see here. What else? I went and checked out some appliances, some new finishes and appliances that I hadn't seen, like kind of, and these are not new, but they were new to me, like over the Sam's, I think it was, GE had like, it was kind of like a leathery matte finish that wouldn't leave no fingerprints. I think we wrote about it once, but I hadn't seen it in person yet. So I wanted to check that out. That was really cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah. What color did you?
It was like a charcoal color, I think. Is that what it comes in other colors too?
I think it comes in a few, but that one that's almost black, I think is the nice one. It's sharp.
Super nice. Yeah. And the Samsung had like and I think this came out about a year ago. Again, the first time I saw it was they call it a water wall feature inside their dishwasher. So this is how they explained it to me, which I thought was pretty good sales talk. It was it's a square dishwasher shape, so why do we have a round? Sounds like a Seinfeld episode. So what's the deal with the round carousel inside with the water? Because then you have the dead spots in the corners. So they just did like these two water bars on the bottom that slide forward and back and shoot jets up, and you can dial it in. There's like a red zone inside the dishwasher. So if you have like wine glasses on this side and like pots and pans that are really caked on, you can put those things in the area that you want to get, and then kind of like dial in the intensity of the wash to do different things. Because it's not just that round carousel shooting everything the same. You can focus your jet power over here, and I thought that was really cool. And it just seems like a really nice dishwasher compared to like the one I have. Like, wow, it's got 3 racks and a little like delicate rack up on top, like
But
a real shallow
is
drawer.
yours not getting your dishes clean?
Well, it's not as cool as this. This one has red stuff inside. Yeah, I want a red dishwasher. Oh, here we go. This is the BAM. I took a picture of the BAM core.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah, those are big sheets. I don't know what they are. And then there's one other thing that I wanted to run by you. So Quiet Cool. They are some kind of show sponsor because I see them on everybody's name tag that we're walking around
Yeah.
with. I didn't notice that until after I went to their booth. I just happened upon them. And so this product, and I need to talk this through from a building science point of view. So I'm not sure about it. So this is it's like a modernized version of a whole house fan.
Yep.
So their whole idea is like, when it's the summertime and it cools down at night, let's say it gets down to like 65 degrees. For you to use your air conditioning, you'd take a tremendous amount of energy to cool your house down to 65 degrees as opposed to just flushing the hot air out of your house and relying on the cooler nighttime air. Not a new concept. I mean, people have had those whole house fans.
Sure.
Usually at the top in the hallway upstairs, something rattles the whole house kind of a thing. But
And from a building science perspective, they're a little
well, so what is about them? The fact that they're
a whole house fan?
is it because of the moisture problem?
Well, it's a big hole in your building envelope for the
Right.
time of the year that you don't want there to be a
Right.
big one too. Those fans are big.
Yep.
And then secondly, some people are concerned that the fans are too powerful. And the same thing that we hear a lot about just with leaky homes is that you could be drawing any which air into your house. So if you have a damp basement, for example,
Right.
or a musty crawl space or whatever, and you use a whole house fan, that's the air you're drawing into your house. You're not actually drawing like the fresh outside air in, but you could be just sucking this, this less healthy air into your house. So I don't know too much about it, but I know that I had at one point done the littlest bit, and this goes back a long time, done a little bit of research about them. And, most building scientists were just kind of on the fence about whether they were a good solution or not. I don't think they're incredibly offensive thing.
Yeah.
You could seal it for the winter if you wanted to, just like you seal your attic hatch.
Yep.
You can make a little box and seal that thing in. And when it comes to airflow, probably if you have enough windows open, you probably don't have a concern with where that air is coming from. They're not said to be or known to be the greatest solution.
They're a little bit ham-handed.
They're a little ham-handed, and they do rattle your whole house. They're big fans,
Yes.
like helicopters.
It is like a helicopter propeller, yes. And this thing seems like it shares some of those same characteristics. I think they're relying on you to open your window in order to provide the makeup air. But essentially, it looks like what you get is like a fan up in the attic, and it looks like a round circular. It looks like a smaller version of one of those big industrial fans you'd see in the corner of a warehouse, like the ones on wheels. So it's that kind of metal framed thing, and it has these straps, so it's suspended in the attic.
Okay.
So the fan is not on the joists; it's in the air at like a 90-degree angle, and then from that, there's this elbow shape of insulated, flexible ductwork, and like heavily insulated. Like it looks really premium. And that comes down to a grill work that's in your ceiling, your living space ceiling, or your attic floor. And so you flip this switch on, and there are louvers that cover the top of the vent, and they kind of they're not. It's sort of like not like a bifold shape. It's like a. Maybe this varies by the size of it, but they're gravity. They're not like an electronic thing. It's not like you flip a switch and the louvers mechanically open, which we've seen in other things. This just uses the power of the fan to suck them open.
Sure.
And the guy said that they were insulated, I think he said to R5, which, again, that's wicked low compared to what your attic floor should be insulated to. So I guess since I'm talking it out, that's a pretty...
And probably not air sealed.
Yeah, he did. I said, are they airtight? And he said, yes. He said they blower door tested them. But this is immediately where my mind goes. When you blower door test a house, you're blowing air out of the house. So you're depressurizing it.
Right,
so
which is only going to suck them tighter.
It's only going to suck those things tighter, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, I like that it's hanging, so it's not going to vibrate everything. It was super efficient, so like I think it ran like 60 watts or something.
Right.
They had a whole slew of different sizes and the square footage associated with the sizes, so they can figure out like, okay, for your house, this is the size. This one's too big. This one's too small. So there is that kind of level of customization that was kind of nice. They're dead quiet. But then I started wondering about. Yeah, like moisture. Like, are we taking a bunch of? We're still dumping a lot of conditioned air into an attic, and granted, it's not.
Oh, so it wasn't ducted. It was ducted from the house to the fan, but not from the fan out of the house.
Yes. Yeah, the fan just dumps into the attic, which is not any different than a whole house fan in a lot of cases, right? I mean, they're just moving it into the attic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're right. If this is a solution for cooling a house down in the summer after the house has been warm all day, that's going to be moist air.
Right. But it's not going to condense.
You're going to put that in the attic. It's not going to condense. It's the summertime.
I don't know. There's something about it that just feels. You know, his explanation was like, yeah, we're going to dump it in, and that's going to positively pressurize the attic, which is only going to fuel the ventilation process. And I'm going, I don't know if this is all stacking up, but we get a lot of that at these shows. Like, let's just slow down and talk about this one point at a time here, because we're all over the map. But yeah, so that was, what did they say it was? Quiet Zone? Is that the name of the thing? So we'll have to dig into that some more and see if we can.
Well, what I thought you were gonna talk about, and you got me kind of excited. So because I had an interesting experience yesterday, I was on a home tour that was part of the show, and the last place that we stopped at, we were visiting these homes. They're $2 million homes.
Yeah.
Built very tight to each other. A lot of density in these communities that they're building in California out here. And I walked out onto this patio. It was a little patio in between two houses, fenced in on either end, and really nice little, for a place with such density, really nice little outdoor space to have, right? You might not get that if these houses if they'd been townhouses, they would have been connected. You wouldn't have had that space.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice that even in these dense homes, you had an outdoor space. But the condenser, the air conditioning condenser, was right there, and it was loud. I was out on that patio thinking, this great patio, and they stuck the big, and there's nowhere else they could have put it.
What about the roof? I mean, that's what they do in commercial, and that's.
Maybe they could stick it on the roof. They're not flat roofs.
Oh. Well, that's probably
so
their
probably
problem.
why they can't do it. But it was a loud air conditioning condenser. I thought what you were going to say was that the product was a quiet air conditioning condenser. So if one of those doesn't exist, and we're going to continue to build these high density neighborhoods, someone should bring that out next year at this show.
Yeah.
Be a big hit.
Stealth technology on those propeller blades or something?
Yeah, something. There's got to be a way to quiet it down.
Why is it so loud?
I don't know, but it's pretty loud.
Yeah.
We'll
get to work on that right away.
There's a fan, there's motors, and there's pumps.
Yeah, but I mean, you can make a quiet. Yeah, there's a pump. That's true. There's a condenser and all that shit. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I can't swear. Sorry, Jeff. So, anything else we want to talk about? I know I promised last episode we're going to get Sean Van Dyke. Still working on it.
We're working on it.
We're going to hopefully have him on for tomorrow. So, stay tuned for that last show. Or if it's not a show, it's going to be somewhere on our website. But we will, if that's the case, then we will certainly make an announcement somewhere along the line on the podcast to let you know where to go. It should be a lot of fun to hear from Sean. If you have never heard him speak before, he's an amazing presenter. He's very motivational in terms of getting you jazzed up like you want to go out and like become a contractor immediately, which can be dangerous if you're one of our listeners who is not already a builder and dreams of being a builder. You might quit your job after listening to it. So tune in for that. We're going to be talking about the skills gap and Keep Craft alive and how to kind of Sean's solutions for how to fix the problem.
And interestingly, that is a very present topic at the show.
Oh, huge!
A whole bunch of people who have stopped by the booth have just brought it up. What do you guys think? What do you guys think we should do? What are you guys doing?
So what's it been? It's been like 2 years since that program launched for us, a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
It was, 2016, I think, January 2016 or somewhere around there. And, like we saw it with Certainty this morning, they were talking about it. Definitely people stopping by the booth talking about it. it's really kind of seeped into conversations everywhere. And
Yeah.
I get it from the manufacturer's point of view because they don't have people that know how to install the products either. So it's going to make their stuff start to
Yeah.
look bad. It's just, and you know, we were talking off the air. I don't know what the solution is. Like,
Well-
I don't, we have people coming up like, well, what are we going to do here? And it's like, well, we don't.
And we had the one man who was talking to us before who didn't. He said, "I don't care about skill. I can't find a
Anybody.
person to show up and work with me."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, like I guess he was implying, or he was saying, maybe he said this to you, was he was working with like an agency that sets him up with people, and he's a California contractor, worked with an agency to set him up with help, contractor help, and the people they were sending him didn't know how to use a tape measure. And he was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I need somebody, you know, and he said that he got to the point where he was hiring people just to have them on site in case we needed to like lift something. Like, hey, you stand over here when it comes time to lift this cabinet. You know, that's all I'm expecting from you. And he couldn't even keep those guys hired.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they would just wander off and leave. So I don't know. California is its own special animal. So we're gonna hopefully dig into that a little bit tomorrow if we can get to it. So until then, thank you all for listening to us and joining us. Please do us a favor and visit the show notes page at finehomebuilding.com/podcast. Go check out our friends at Pella, at Pella.com. And we will get back to you in the next episode. Until then, this is Justin and Brian saying keep craft alive and happy building from PCBC in San Francisco, California.